Hey everybody, it's Dave from TADPOG, Tyler and Dave Play Old Games, that podcast that you listen to. And I am here with good news and bad news. As you've probably surmised, the bad news is that Tyler and I were not able to meet to record the podcast this week. Everything is fine, everyone is fine, everybody is safe. I guess that's kind of the silver lining of the bad news. And I'm sure that we're going to get into detail as to why we weren't able to record this week on an upcoming episode. So I guess look forward to that. The good news is we still have something for you to listen to. Thank you to the Patreon donors who donate monthly and for whom we create bonus content for, because we're able to open up the Patreon vault once more, which we tend to do whenever we're not able to meet our podcasting deadline, and it really saves us. So if you donate on Patreon, thank you very much, because we have something now that we can share with everybody. A while back, we recorded a bonus episode on a game called Mazin Saga for the Sega Genesis or the Mega Drive. We did that with Ross Rachel Green from across the pond, and we like how it turned out, and it's got the vibe of like a regular episode. So that is what I would like to play for y'all today. I appreciate your patience very much. Thank you for stopping by, and enjoy the episode.
You're about to listen to TADPOG, Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
All right.
Hey,
Patreon, let's do this.
That we do this. Like, I didn't know how we were going to do this. So I pretty much just copied my notes template that I normally use and just filled them in pretty much the same way. Except I don't have a link in there that's quiz from Ross Rachel Green.
Oh, I'm sure, Ross, you've got one, right?
I have a something. Yes, it's not.
All right, perfect.
Okay, all right.
It's not a traditional quiz because it's not a traditional episode. So it's a something else.
It's not. We're recording this on a Friday, but you're already in Saturday.
I am.
Yeah,
Well, Patreon, this is a special episode brought to you by Ross Rachel Green.
you just kind of glossed over that. I want to know how Saturday is because we're not there yet.
How is it? Is Trump still president over there?
Wait till
Trump's president over there too? Not yet.
Wait till you
Give
see
him a
the news
couple more
about the
years.
aliens. It's gonna.
All right, sorry. I had to do my time travel bit. Now I'll be quiet.
Well, he's over there, so God Kaiser Hell has already come over and destroyed the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So
God Kaiser Hell did a number on Europe. Well, I'm sure we'll get into that.
man, it's pretty crazy that these aliens that come from outer space and they have all these, Earth words. So
Well, maybe that's just our translation for them.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's like, what is that guy? He's kind of like a god.
He's clearly German. Okay, God Kaiser.
God Kaiser.
He's red in spikes. Okay, God Kaiser Hell.
The world's on fire. This is appropriate.
So Ross, you wanted us to do. You threw in. You paid a bounty. You knocked it down for us to do. How's everybody say it? How do you say it, Ross?
Well, it's called something different here. It's Mazin Wars in Europe, and I think in Japan as well. But yours is something weird, like Mazin
there was
fighters,
Mazin,
monster,
Mazin,
aliens, something. I always assumed Mazin.
I assume Mazin too, just because it's like the Japanese soft A,
yeah.
But Mazin kind of does make sense because it's amazing.
So Mazin Saga Mutant Fighter.
Yeah, Mazin Saga Mutant Fighter, which has the same syllable breakdown as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it kind of feels like maybe they named it that way in the States because they were like, well, grandmothers are going to be like buying video games.
No one knows what Mazin's Wars is. That sounds too. We got to make it like Mutant Fighters. Got to American it up.
Put mutant in there for sure. Like I think that was definitely like marketing got their hands on that. And they're like,
right.
Mutants are real hot right now.
Yeah. And so is fighting them.
So is Street Fighter 2. I mean, Street Fighter 2 is real hot, and I think that influenced a lot of this game's development. I don't have proof to that, but
I'd believe it. If I saw it on Wikipedia, I'd be like, "Yep,
yeah,
that's what it is."
Fact. It's a blue link, not a red link.
So Ross, why is this game so important to you? You would toil away at your job on the Isle of Man and then take that money and give it to us. Why this game?
God, that's a good question, to be honest. I don't know. It's just a game that I remember owning on the Mega Drive / Genesis in the long, long ago.
How'd you get it? Was it like a birthday present? You buy it with your own money?
I don't remember. God.
Did you steal it?
It's got to have been the best part of 25 years ago, to be fair. And I
remember Melissa's outfits in middle school like 25 years ago. Come on, you remember your game. It's fine.
He didn't marry Mazin Wars.
To be fair, I didn't masturbate to Mazin Wars every day.
Like he's
I had never heard of this game ever, like until you mentioned it. And also, Ross, by the way, congratulations on getting the last bounty at the $20 level.
Yeah,
because since then, Sandwich Pope Phil Hawkins was like, Tyler and Dave are severely undervaluing their time. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. It's now $50. And I'm still not sure that is high enough. So congratulations.
I will print myself a medal, maybe.
We'll get you a certificate.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, there we go. That's part of it. A hand-printed certificate.
To be fair,
we'll put our kids to work.
It'd cost you more to ship it to me than it would be for like me to pay you to talk about this game. So.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it cost me. Okay, so essentially what you paid for us to talk about this game, I spent on shipping to ship Phil Hawkins, Sandwich Pope Phil again, a headset. Because it's like, it's $20? It's like, seriously? But yeah, sure enough. And I asked like the guy in our mailing department, I was like, are you sure this is the cheapest? He's like, yeah, man, it's like across the country. And it's like, oh yeah, I guess it is.
You just put it on a car that's going over there.
Right.
It's going over there anyway. May as well just put it. It's little. This game, when I pulled it up on, I was like, well, let's see what YouTube has to say about this. It's on a lot of hidden gems lists.
Yeah.
Like many. Yeah,
for sure. And I can see why. It's a game I'd never heard of, and when I started playing it, I was like, all right, this is pretty good. And I actually I took a photograph of it and sent it to Ross to make sure that I was playing the right game, because I was like, is this the game? Because I'm thinking this is pretty good. And I wasn't expecting it to be good.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. That was pretty awful.
Yeah, I remember playing it and never getting that far. I don't know I don't know how far we want to get into talking about the game, being as we are 6 minutes in.
Yeah, this is weird for us. We need to spend at least 40 more minutes talking about food or sex or Naruto or accents.
All the above, yeah.
I do have a traditional TADPOG intro story.
Fantastic.
Any of the old listeners will remember that intro stories generally involved anuses.
And this is Patreon, so feel free to,
You really cut loose.
Yeah, embellish.
Talk about the stuff you've eaten out of girls' vaginas. Go ahead. It's fine. It's welcome.
We'll all go around the table and share.
Not that much.
What
really.
dairy product have you eaten out of a vagina?
It's not a plate or a bowl. It's not a food receptacle.
Yeah. It's like a shell.
Yeah. I've gone on a train of thought now about what I could fit inside of a vagina.
Yeah, all three of us are sitting here right now thinking about vaginas.
yeah. Anyway, I've got a story that is completely outlandish, but it comes from a very reputable source, being a senior police officer. So I'd like to imagine that it's somewhat credible, but it's probably like third or fourth hand. So,
Okay.
the story goes that said senior police officer with his friends went over to the metropolitan that is Liverpool for a lads' weekend. Anyone that is in or near the UK, which is probably Paul, will know that Liverpool is not a metropolitan. It is indeed a shithole.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the level from ActRaiser, and then I was like, no, that's Bloodpool.
So the story goes that they go into a particular pub, and in walks two ladies, one of which is carrying a jar full of pound coins. Now that's like $1, but made of metal.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, just although you
Like our Sacagawea.
yeah,
It was in her mouth.
no, in a jar.
A jaw full
Jar.
jar. Okay.
Like a glass jar.
I was
Yeah,
like, what? She had
jam
like.
jar.
I thought you were talking about tobacco for a second. I was like, money. What?
So anyway, these two women walk in with this jar full of money, and they offer a challenge, and that would be, if you can shit on one of the ladies' faces, you get all of the money in the jar. This
Is that all? Do you have to do it right there in the pub, like in front of everybody, or is this
Yeah.
like, could you be like a private? Oh, I see.
no, and this is where it sort of becomes. This is where it loses
Tyler
all
could do that.
credibility. So
You're right.
the way it
I
works
got the
is
spread shot from Contra.
the way it works
Sorry,
is
Roz, go ahead.
one of the women lays on the floor, and you straddle her face and try to shit in her face. But the trick is, she blows on your ring piece, which makes you clench up and not be able
Clench it
to
up.
shit.
Yeah. She
So
hasn't met Tyler.
Yeah. I got that leaky gasket.
anyway, this is how the story goes. It's how it was explained
Okay.
to me. I like I say,
Okay.
at this point, it's lost all credibility. I don't believe that it's true, but I will
This is-
continue
yeah.
the story.
This is a way to trick people into trying this and get shat on.
So they take one of the less willing members of their party and proceed to fill
Good
them
choice.
with Guinness, which you, Dave, knowing as a Guinness drinker,
Yeah.
will give you the tarry black shits.
Yes, it will. Yeah, it will.
Cheap like takeaway curries and fried chicken, and refuse to let him poo for the remainder of the trip. And on the last night, they feverishly look for this couple of women.
So this wasn't like a one night thing for these ladies. This was like and I use the
That's how they
term
make their
ladies.
living.
Use the term ladies loosely. It was not. This is
Hole
just what they
blower is
do.
what they're called.
Hole
It's an
blowers?
old profession.
Yeah.
No, this was apparently a popular grift that they managed. So anyway, they find the two ladies on the final day and take up the challenge, and they pay their money. And one of the ladies lays on the floor, and as the story goes, before she could even purse her lips, the torrent of Guinness and takeaway shits has just hit this lady in the face. And they won.
Yeah.
They won a jar full of pound coins, but at what cost, I ask you?
At less of a cost than the woman.
Oh God, you can't. I can sort of picture the look on her face, that horrified. I don't
For a
know how to. Yeah, I can't open my eyes. I can't open my mouth.
It's just like pause. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Record scratch. Yeah.
My life's taking some pretty serious turns.
if there is ever a record scratch moment in a person's life, that's one of them. Yeah.
As the turds are like inches away from your face, it's just, I bet you're wondering where I came. I'd like to imagine that now she's a businesswoman doing like multi-million pound business deals, but...
See, I'm not imagining turds as much as I'm imagining like venom webbing.
Yeah, see, I was thinking of, the snake fireworks where you light them and it's just like this tootsie roll of tar that just keeps growing.
Oh, God. Yeah, so it's, like I say, it's from a credible source, but it's not a credible story at all.
So was the senior police officer was he the key part of the group, or was he like the first on scene?
No, he was the
judge.
He was in the group of lads, as they say them. Yes, I don't know if he witnessed it, if it was his group that did it, if someone in another group told them it happened. But either way, we can all agree it's a good story.
It is a good story.
Yeah.
Now, Ross, how many faces have you shit on personally?
Or assholes have you blown on?
There you go.
Probably more arse. I've probably blown in more arses than I have shit on people's faces.
That's a good average.
Yeah, you got to keep that ratio clean like that. That's commendable.
God, this is
a giver. I appreciate it.
This is another good story that is entirely credible because it is regarding a lady I dated. I have another story about said lady I dated as well, but I have a feeling that would make a good stinger.
Oh God, yeah. Let's lay them on us.
Let's go ahead and talk about all the ladies you dated. Let's go line them up.
Yeah.
It's not a very long list, It's
Well, what's your magic number?
Oh Christ. Like 5? Less than...
Feels good.
It's good.
All right.
It's a good number.
That's good.
I mean, that is all of the people that you slept with in your church, I think, Tyler.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
You knew them too?
Heaven's 5, we call it.
Heaven's 5. Party of 5.
Oh, Party of 5. That was a good reference. I got that. That was
all right.
That was an American show that I've
Neve
heard
Campbell,
of.
Scott Wolf. Yeah.
Anyway, there was a lady I dated who I call her a lady in the loosest possible sense.
She also got shit on her face.
She could sort of like get
Hugh
on her
Grant's her
knees and put her. Oh no, that I'd never have left Hugh Grant. Come on.
You don't have enough penis for Hugh Grant.
Would I be bottoms for Hugh Grant? Maybe. I mean, he's pretty right, I think.
For a little bit, he probably would.
For a little.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
You'd have to go to Eddie Murphy eventually.
We all go to Eddie Murphy eventually.
I could have sex with Hugh Grant just a little bit for a treat.
I think it seems like he'd be very polite
For about,
about it.
I don't know, 9.5 weeks.
God, we got well off topic there. That was a good segue.
You were talking about
Yes, anyway.
the lady.
A lady I dated, yes. She used to be able to get on her knees and sort of like lay her face on the bed and relax her sphincter, and it'd open up like a little iris. And you could sort of see into her colon.
Star Trek door.
Yeah, Stargate, I suppose.
Yeah, an aperture.
Yeah. With less aliens coming out of it, I imagine.
Aw.
But yeah, this was like pre-cameras on phones time, so I couldn't really take a picture of her wide back alley.
So was it a, hey, Ross, check this out sort of moment? Or you were like, just relax and let me see up there, baby?
Yeah, how did that go?
I wish I knew. I genuinely wish I know how it came about. But yeah, she told me that she taught some of her friends how to do it as well. And I've always tried and never been able to do it. So it must.
God, I wish I could have witnessed that.
So was she into anal or just could do anal tricks?
She wasn't into anal. But she did used to like popping a vibrator in there while I was managing the front holes, shall we say.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good
stuff.
yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yep. Missed that.
So safe to say your wife won't be listening to this one.
Oh, she doesn't listen to this shit. Come on. She
I'll just post the transcript to Tadpog Nation.
Yeah, she posts the memes on Tadpog Nation, and that's she's a meme queen. She has her own meme page.
Really?
She does, which I'm sure people look at.
What is it?
Oh Christ! Don't ask me questions.
This is the test. This is the husband test.
I've got a question
Sure, you
for
fucked
you.
this other girl while she fucked her asshole, but can you name your wife's meme page?
Oh Christ!
You're looking it up. That's just fine.
Of course, I'm looking
but
it
it's fine.
It's definitely Mimi memes, but is it Simone's Mimi memes? Is it Moni's Mimi memes? I don't know. She
missed out on saying some memes.
something memes. I've got a question for you. Your partners, do they insist on celebrating your anniversaries for marriage and when you started dating?
No.
I insist on it. I like
insist
doing
on
big
it.
things for anniversaries. Yes.
Weirdo.
Whenever I saw the Nicolas Cage film, The Family Man, and because he is a miserable bachelor who something happens to him and he relives as if he'd stayed with his ex-girlfriend.
No, that's Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
Ghost
Pretty
Rider.
close. So he's married to the Spirit of Vengeance, right? Played by Téa Leoni. And like on their anniversary, she gets up very excited because he always makes a big deal about the anniversary, and she's crushed when he doesn't. So then I was like, that is an awesome thing. I'm always going to make, whenever I'm married, I'm going to make anniversaries a big thing. So every year for mine and Melissa's anniversary, I save up. I have a box where I keep things all year long.
Cum box.
And then a cum box. And then I buy a shadow box and I basically
Cum
make
in
a
that
big
as well.
cum all over it. That's how I stick all the pictures.
Just decant the semen from the
smells
box
just
into
right.
the shadow box.
So yeah, every year that's what I get. Or it's just she has this giant shadow box of all of our memories and bits and everything from the whole year. So no, anniversaries, our anniversary is a big thing for me. So yeah, I definitely go out there, and she wouldn't care if I didn't do anything. She wouldn't be upset, but I feel like it's important.
Nicolas Cage would be upset.
Nicolas Cage would
Yes.
be. Taylor Leone would be disappointed in me.
Right?
Taylor Leone's aged well. I'm just
I haven't seen her recently.
no, I hadn't.
Everybody pulls out their phone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll be the judge of that.
But no, she insists. I say she. My wife insists on asking me things like, "What's our anniversary?" And I don't remember either one of them.
Oh no, I have trouble. Yeah, she does. She did age well. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. We don't really. I don't know. We don't really do. We don't make a big deal out of it. I mean, I was about to say maybe we should, but you know what? Neither of us really want to.
No, it's
so
just whatever. Yeah,
it's just kind of.
if it's not something
Yeah.
you really go for, don't force it.
I know it makes it seem like we live a very loveless marriage. That's not true. We just don't want to take the time to acknowledge that it exists.
You have more of a Jehovah's Witness marriage. There are no holidays. It's just there.
Yeah, I mean, it is just. I mean, it's like happy anniversary. You want to have sex? Yep.
We just have sex without holidays and don't do blood transfusions.
Right. Normally we'll go out for dinner or something, but this year we didn't. It was very much like, okay, I guess.
Put on your mask. We're going out for dinner.
Right.
God, yeah. How's things going in your neck of the woods? Are you allowed out of the house?
Oh yeah, for sure. Encouraged. We're encouraged.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Fuck it. Just go out. Don't wear a mask. Don't do
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
It's fine. You live in a super, super, super red state.
Although I didn't hear this until today, but our governor, Steve Bashir, was like, all right, we're gonna start. We try doing this the nice way. If you're out and you don't have a mask, we're gonna start giving fines. I don't know that I don't know how well that's gonna be enforced.
See, he's gonna have to fight the Attorney General on it because the Attorney General is a super Trumper, and he is like fighting everything Bashir is doing tooth and nail.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I work in one of the 2 hospitals in town, and I know the COVID units are pretty full. The other hospital shipped us some of theirs because they were at capacity.
Oh God!
So
we have like a dozen
numbers
deaths.
are climbing. Yep,
like a dozen deaths a day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. Sucks.
I have a sort of massive disconnect from it because we stopped getting cases like months ago. So we have been COVID free for so long, well over 100 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is back to the way it was. There's no masks. There's no, you can eat out. You can go and hang around in huge groups of people.
You can shit on ladies' faces if you want.
It's encouraged.
They want you to wear a mask. They suggest it.
It's a Halloween mask.
Yeah, it's not so much a mask as it is funnel. But
no, it's fucked all the way around in the U.S. until a vaccine comes out because it's just gonna be wildfire until a vaccine comes out. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I think that's sort of feels like how the UK was. I think the UK was edging its bets on what word am I looking for? You can read my mind from 6,000 odd miles away. Herd immunity. Yeah, I think we were looking for herd immunity, and it didn't. I say we. I think they were looking for herd immunity, and it's not gone very well. So people will come over. We've got immediately the government here said no one's allowed in or out of the country, and we've just sort of started letting key workers back in to do all of the work that the people here aren't qualified for. So we will get things like doctors and nurses that have to come over and self-isolate for 14 days in a specified place. And inevitably they break the rules. So we've recently had uproar because we had 5 guys from the UK who work on the railways or are railway employees. And they came over to do some work. And they were told to self-isolate for 14 days. So the first thing they do is go to the supermarket. And of course they're wearing face masks. So people say things like, "Why are you wearing a face mask?" And they say stupid things like, "We've just got off the boat." And then people do sensible things like call the police, and then the police come and arrest them. And then they've recently got they've been given a jail sentence for 14 days. And after that 14 days, they're going to get back on the boat and go home. And people here are saying that was exactly the right thing to do. Fuck everyone else that doesn't live on the island. But the people from the UK are saying, how dare you arrest and imprison people for 2 weeks for going to the shop? But that's the rules.
Yeah, I'm with your island.
Yep.
Where it's like, hey, we figured this shit out.
Yep.
Stay quarantine. You're welcome to come. Fucking quarantine. Those are the rules.
Meanwhile, our president has it.
Or does he? There's conspiracy theories.
Melissa's kind of in that camp of like, he doesn't have it, so he can say it's not a big deal and act like he beat it. Yeah. Well, that would be that kind of move.
Yeah.
And it is kind of fucked up where it's like, because I don't feel like I've like really, I don't know, man. Up until like the last few years, I don't feel like I've been very like conspiracy like oriented, but like now all of a sudden it's like, well, I mean, a lot of shit's fucked up. So
yeah, man. I mean, QAnon. Have you read that kind of stuff? Man? Like Hillary Clinton in the pizza shop. Yeah,
Pizzagate.
Pizzagate. Makes sense.
I mean, this year has been such a dumpster fire. I'm expecting someone to say the Earth really is flat. Sorry, guys. We cannot.
Well, what's fucked up is like we bag on 2020, which absolutely has been complete shit. But 2021's also going to be complete shit.
Yeah. It'll be sadder because, like, we had a year to get ready for it.
I know.
We just thought 2020 was going to be great.
So,
Halloween's on a Saturday. 2020 is going to be great.
Yeah, that's what I'm not looking forward to. I'm not like New Year is going to be the weirdest fucking New Year ever because it's just going to be like things are not going to be better.
Happy Zoom year.
Yeah. So, all right.
So what kind of so while you were unemployed or made to stay home, how did the government support you, Ross?
I worked all the way through it. I just worked remotely.
Okay.
I was classified as a key worker that keeps the cogs of government turning. So they got me a laptop and said, here you go, you are allowed to work from home until we tell you to come back. And it was about 8 weeks.
Wow.
Okay.
And that was it. And that was the last of it. So it was, yeah, they did a thing, they called it furlough. I don't know if it's furloughing in there.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they called that too.
And the government sort of paid you 80% of your wages, or paid businesses to give you 80% of your wages. So, I mean, most people coped as best as I can imagine they could. But like I say, that wasn't my problem. And it sounds fairly heartless, but, you know, I got paid, so...
Well, I want to move to your island. I'll stay 14 days in quarantine.
I'm sure graphic designing is a key skill that
Summon Jeff the Mongoose. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. Although my creative director, when I told him about you, because I was like, hey, this guy also talks like you. Do you know him? Do you know Ross Rachel Green? Do you know him? He said he didn't, but he did say, what the fuck is he doing on the Isle of Man? There's nothing out there.
That might be the point.
Yeah, that's an apt description, I think. It is definitely a place where you make your own entertainment.
Yeah.
But it is really safe. There's not been a stranger murder for decades. I don't lock my car doors because there's nowhere to take my car.
Because no one knows how to drive.
You have the only car.
You drive down the road.
It even had to do with his fading from your memory.
That would make commuting so much better. The worst thing about driving is everybody else on the road.
Naturally, yeah.
But no, it's a safe, nice place. You can't get away. Like, you can't really have an affair because everybody knows everybody else. And it is the sort of place where...
So your wife was like, I'm tired of talking about the asshole blinking girl. We are moving to the Isle of Man.
Yeah, let's... right, let's see. How long is your daily commute in miles?
In miles? I can tell you in minutes. I don't know what it is in miles. It's 8 minutes.
8 minutes? Christ, that is close.
8 minutes, yeah.
Mine's about 15 minutes.
Oh, God. Yeah, you all live super close to home. Or work super close to home, should I say.
How long is yours?
Mine is about 35 minutes. I work 17 miles away from my house. And I would regularly drive sort of an hour into town in the UK and think nothing of it. But if I have to drive to Douglas at the weekend, it's a real chore. And people will say, God, all the way to Douglas. It's 16 miles. If it wasn't for the mountain, I'd be able to see it.
No. Sleep. Till Douglas.
And yeah, it is just one of those, like, God, if I have to go to the airport is about 10 minutes further away from my home. And I was like, God, I've got to make a day trip of it. I'd better pack sandwiches.
I like that's where your mind goes.
It
I
is
love
an
that.
absolute... Someone said, I'm going up to Ramsey at the weekend. I'll make a day of it. Like, a day of it. It is a weird...
I'll make a sandwich to listen to 2/3 of a TADPOG episode.
It is a real... Yeah, it is a real... Just... They call it the island mentality. And although it is like 35 kilometers long, it is very unusual to go from like one end to the other in like a weekend.
You're living on island time, baby.
Yeah, that's it. But it's nice to sort of notice that although it is a very small place, people talk weird down south.
Yep, same here.
Well, your down south is hundreds of miles. Mine is like 20.
I was talking to my boss about that today, weirdly, because like he was talking about his mom who grew up like in like the very northern part like of England, and like how she like lived for a little bit in Scotland, and she can speak. You probably, really honestly, I'd only heard this like a couple times, but the Scots. She can speak the Scots. Is that a thing?
It is an accent, the Scottish.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, there is a, I think they have their own sort of version of Gaelic as well, which is weird.
Yeah, he was talking about how they've got like a Duolingo course for it.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre to me because I guess it's not English, but I guess it kind of is.
Yeah, Gaelic is sort of very phlegmy. It's very in the back of your throat. There is a Manx Gaelic as well, which very few people speak.
That sounds like a video game. Manx Gaelic.
Yeah.
And the adventure of the porcupine sword. Manx Gaelic.
Yeah, it's a funny old place. Is the Isle of Man, but yeah, I'm kind of stuck here now. I'm not allowed to leave. Couldn't leave if I wanted to.
Seems like a pretty good place to be stuck in right now, though. I mean,
yes,
truly, we
are very lucky, and I mean everyone here sort of says they forget that the world is still on fire because
man, that is a really good statement. Like that's great.
And when is that hard Brexit coming up?
Oh, Christ, I don't know. I'm trying to stay as far away from it as possible. Although...
I don't think it's going to help.
Again, sort of doesn't affect us because the Isle of Man is not part of the UK or even part of Europe. So...
Oh, so you're good. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, the UK is our biggest trading partner for imports and exports, so... If they're fucked, we, by association, are also fucked.
Sure.
I guess we'll probably try and get a lot more deals. I can't even say we'll go for Ireland because that's part of Europe. And we'd need a European trading agreement or something. Let's figure that out when the time comes.
Yeah. Let's figure it out right now.
Let's
hash
two
this
guys
out.
in Kentucky and one guy in the Isle of Man. We're gonna figure this out.
Let's
Yeah, we can sort Brexit out in an evening. It's only taken
We got
politicians
this.
We're better than
years.
Boris Johnson. We can do this.
Yeah, we'll be shitting on faces before the night's over. We'll get this worked out.
Yeah, we've all got faces and arseholes. We can... Like a lemon party.
I can blow.
Was that...
Well, Mazin Saga.
I was about to say...
Unless you got something else.
No, I think I'm good. We are about 36 minutes in, so that's
about
pretty
standard.
good. It's about average.
Tadpog time.
yeah, I think so.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's the increasing rapidity of breath trying to blow shit back up into an asshole.
It's like when the Hershey's bottle's really, really low and it gets the whistle. Every now and then it gets the... There's no getting that syrup back in the bottle. I don't know if you've ever tried.
I hate Hershey syrup. I hate it.
Are you a Nesquik? Are you a Nesquik boy?
No, neither one really.
Ovaltine? Bosco?
Yeah, none.
None of it.
My parents thought it was all garbage, so...
Do you get do you ever drink chocolate milk?
Whenever I was lifting really heavy, I would drink Fairlife chocolate milk because the protein content.
What was it?
Fairlife.
Fairlife? Is that like a nutritional milk?
It just had a higher protein count because chocolate milk is a really good recovery drink after a heavy workout. It's got a good like carbs to protein ratio to refill the glycogen and have your muscles start rebuilding immediately so you don't start breaking shit down.
It's really good recovery for when you've eaten a whole bunch of powdered donuts as well.
Really? Yeah. When your muscles are shredded from that bag of donuts?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but it fares very well.
Oh, I got the donut sores.
Shit.
Give me some chocolate milk.
I do get the donut sores quite a bit. Of course I hear
on a
that.
completely side note.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to go on a weird milk tangent.
Please.
There was a company that
again, Ross, another weird milk tangent.
Old weird milky tangent, Ross. A long time ago, someone made a high protein milk drink called Man Milk, and I was like, they had to have known. They had to have known.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you try any of it? Did you try any of Man Milk?
No, I imagine it being thick though.
Briny.
Oh, sort of stringy and chewy. Oh.
Yeah, the texture's not very consistent from bottle to bottle.
That reminds me of like, it was like a Republican convention where they bought and handed out gun oil for saying that they're gun rights, but it was actually a lube used by a lot of gay men, and they didn't know that when they bought a whole bunch of it to give out.
Oh, that could not have been better.
What did the packaging of Man Milk look like? Did they have like purple caps? Like,
no,
just in a tied off condom. That's how you can buy and drink it.
Need a shot?
It's got a high protein content.
Yeah, just pull it off a clothesline.
Where is it Canada that sells bags of milk and you have to have a jug for it?
I don't know.
I think you're right. I know in my middle school and high school we had bagged milk.
I've heard of that, but I've never. Yeah, we had cartons when I was in high school. Little tiny baby cartons.
We just had it was a crate of just sad bags of milk.
Just brought the cow in.
Here, everybody just open up.
All right. Four at a time. You're working it like a fucking bellows. Of course I hear that chugging of Man Milk, which of course ushers in a segment that we like to call Dave Reads from Wikipedia. There's a kind of a short entry here, but Mazin Saga Mutant Fighter is a 1993 hybrid beat-em-up fighting video game developed by Almanac Corporation. I want to say Almanac.
Yeah, there's not enough A's in it, though, is there?
No, I'm familiar with an almanac, but I'm not familiar with an almanac. It seems like an off-brand, like, hey, I know you guys like to know things. Do you like to forget things? Try an almanac.
Benjamin Franklin's.
Right? Just riddle with typos.
Almanac.
I'm sorry. The bookstore will not accept my almanac return. It was developed in conjunction with ALU and Team Saga and published by Vic Tokai for the Sega Genesis in North America and later in Japan and Europe by Sega. It is based upon Go Nagai's Mazin Saga mecha manga, which is considered a combination of Nagai's Mazinger and Devilman franchises.
Kim Basinger?
Kim
Basinger? How do you say that?
Vicky Vale? Players assume the role of Koji Kabuto, or as he's known in America, Ed Snorlax.
Hal helmet.
Wielding the Mazin Z armor. Did you like how I tried to do both the pronunciations at the same time? He
The Ma Zinger. When your mom makes a good joke, it's a Ma Zinger.
Ah, shit. Shit, mom. He wields the Mazinger Z armor to fight against powerful bio beasts led by God Kaiser Hell. And that's pretty much it.
When I read that Wikipedia article as well, and it's going on about Kenji Kabuto or whatever he is. I mean, none of that is explained in the game,
No.
I assume the instruction manual that I never read.
I found the manual online, which is usually a good sign. But the game intro does kind of tell the story, but it's all pretty much front loaded, and then you don't get any more story until the very end.
When it's like, everything's fucked, we're going to Mars.
Yeah.
No,
which
spoilers!
is like, okay.
Spoilers!
I'm glad you said spoilers. Ross, you owned this game. Have you ever beaten this game?
Oh, Christ, no. It was, yeah. I watched a playthrough recently, and how far did I get? I got to... I don't think I fought the third boss, but I definitely saw the third levels.
It's a difficult game.
Yeah, is there like 6 or so levels?
There are a bunch of levels, and then it stops being levels.
Yeah.
And they take the worst part of the game, which I'd like to get into sooner than later, I guess. They take the worst part of the game, which is the fighting portion of the game, and then they just start making levels that are just the fighting portion of the game.
It's so bad.
And it's so
just
bad.
a boss rush at the end, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a boss rush, and like the way
Which I hate anyway.
See, I like
I don't like a boss rush in anything but Mega Man.
Cuphead.
Okay, Cuphead, yeah.
But see, that's like all designed to just this is a boss rush game.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Cuphead is. Like,
But like Act Racer, fuck,
Right.
that is the worst example of a boss
it
rush.
sucks because it's like here's padding essentially is what it feels like, and I think it feels that way in Mazin Saga as well because, okay, so the way that the game works is there are multiple stages, and the first 3/4 of that stage are a side-scrolling or a belt-scrolling beat 'em up, typically,
So
like Streets of Rage.
75%, yeah, Streets of Rage. Other 25%, Ultraman for the SNES. It feels like that the fighting section is just cut and paste from the horrible Ultraman game. Because you were right, it is above and beyond the worst part.
It sucks. It reminded me of Battle Blaze a little bit, like
Yeah.
in that it's less a fighting game and feels more like a slap fight. And
Yeah.
whoever has the best reach is like pretty much gonna win. I
Yeah.
feel like, unless you feel like just jump kicking Mortal Kombat
Even
1.
all your moves
style.
change. Like, why
Yeah.
can't you use the same fucking moves you use in the side-scrolling part? Like,
Yeah.
you're just locked into just jump // duck / and that's
There's a block button, and there
There's a
are
block.
special moves. You can send out like a sonic boom with
Yeah.
your sword. But the problem is that the opponents, they also have special moves, and they will spam the shit out of them.
Yep. I beat the first stage. Took me 5 lives to beat the first stage and beat the first boss. And after that, there was one section, and it was the side-scrolling section that I went, I think you heard me go, fuck this.
Yeah.
And so you meet the boss, and you do this weird bullshit peekaboo thing where you see his head floating, and on the side of you, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you with my hand. I'm gonna get you." Oh, no.
Because he's enormous. You're on a rooftop building, and he's
Yeah.
like Krang sized,
Yeah.
like on like Turtles in Time, where he's shooting the fucking lasers with the construction
Yeah,
site.
because his hand just like sneak. You turn around, hit it, duck back. Oh, go around the other side. I'm gonna get you.
Right.
I'm gonna get you. And you turn around, you hit it once, and he ducks back around. And you just fucking do that forever, and it's fucking boring and dumb and frustrating.
It looks good. I think it looks good. I like how the game looks.
Graphically, I do like it. Yeah.
I want to counterpoint here.
Okay.
I think graphics. Okay, here's how I think it goes. I think they've all had a staffing meeting, and someone's come in and said, "I've just hired you an animator," and someone on the other side says, "I've just hired the animator," and they said,
Yeah.
"Now we've not got a budget for an artist," and someone said, "I've got all these sprites left over from a NES game. Is that okay?" And they said, "Yeah, just animate them really nicely. No one will tell the difference." And I thought the animation is fantastic. When the people move, it's not just I'm going from standing up to now crouching down. There's several frames of movement where they're sort of folding their body and getting down. And yeah, it's nice, and they roll nicely and they move cleverly, but it's a real shitty 8-bit. Just the characters. I thought the character sprites were dreadful. Certainly in the side-scrolling bit.
I was about to ask which section you're talking about. This is the beat 'em up section or the fighting section? Because they really are two different games.
Yep.
Yeah, the side-scrolling bit, I thought the graphics were the worst bit. The fighting game, I guess, was like any mid-range Mega Drive / Genesis game of the time.
Yeah.
Or Power Rangers. It was like the Megazord sections, and Power Rangers, only that felt better to play.
Yeah.
That was... This feels very blocky, herky-jerky in the fighting segments.
In the fighting segment. Yeah. I think, and it's gonna get tough to talk about this game because it really does feel like a fighting game that wasn't strong enough to be released by itself and was then tacked on to a side-scrolling beat 'em up. I don't know the development history to this, but I mean, the games are that, like, the segments are that different that it feels like they were developed independently. And I think that kind of ties in, Ross, with what you were saying, where it's like you had two animators, essentially. Because, I mean, they look very different. Like, as far as, like, character design goes, that's all on point, because I guess that's all Go Nagai. I get what you're saying about it looking like an NES game. I think, and I agree with that. I think I just like that. I like the small sprites, like, I think that the beat 'em up segments like seem to play so fast, and I like the gameplay of that so much that it's easy for me to overlook a whole bunch of other things. The fighting segments are the worst. They are the worst. Like, I hate that those are in the game.
Wait till we draw Ultraman from the randomizer, because it is just that, and it's probably worse.
Yeah. It's clunky. It looks like, I mean, it moves so slow that it almost looks like Quap, the fighting game.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels like you're moving things individually. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just not. It's not
good.
It's just not.
It's very jarring. It goes from one thing to something complete. It's like rhythm action game and then racing. The two very separate genres.
Right.
Like, we're going to play Tetris, and if you do good enough, you get to play football.
Like, I lost my point. Never mind. What I was going to say.
The one thing...
I like the music.
Yeah.
I hate the sound effects.
Yeah, they were done by the same person. That's the same person who did the music for River City Ransom, Sawa. So I thought that's neat.
Devin Sawa, man of many talents.
Devin Sawa, yeah. Made it while working on Casper. Few people don't know that.
The collectibles as well. There's two points. The UI at the bottom, or the GUI, is very basic. Just a big black box with your health, the score, and the amount of lives you've got. It didn't need to be a big black box. Chances are it didn't need to be there at all. I do like that you have a health bar, and it's not like a one-hit kill or a two-hit kill bit.
Sure.
But the other bit was the collectibles, which now I assume are like 2 gold bricks kind of nestled together. But at times I've also thought it was a pile of gold dust, a yellow wig.
I saw a gold
pile of straw.
A shiny yellow wig.
they are just sort of unrecognizable triangles of yellow. Because they're so small.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one thing that I could say about like the health bar and everything having that big black box is it at the bottom, it does kind of give the game like a faux widescreen effect, which I do think is nice for a side-scrolling beat 'em up, because and with the sprites being as small as they are, you get to see things well before they get to you, which is very important, I feel like, in a beat 'em up. Like newer beat 'em ups that like utilize widescreen is like, this is great because it can be so much faster. It doesn't have to be slow because you're now working with a elongated rectangle. You're not working with a square.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was a gameplay decision that they made and they didn't do a good job of figuring out like how to do it. They're like, just make a huge UI at the bottom of the screen.
And I kept missing because you have sort of a downward slash with your sword as your standard attack.
And you do have a sword. How cool is that?
Yeah. Shoot your rage with the sword.
Right.
I missed a lot. I found I had difficulty hitting the enemies, but you get, your sword slash, jump kick. You could do like a E Honda style attack where you force your sword out very quickly all over the place.
You've got dash.
The dash and attack was very good. You've got like a Link style downward stab from like Zelda 2.
Jumping, spinning, where you spin around in the somersaulty sword.
Yep.
That was
The move
that was
that
my
takes your
go-to
health.
move. Oh, and the move that takes your health, yeah.
Right, where you just become a whirlwind of blade.
Yep.
For not very long.
But the one thing I thought, and my same problem with the original Final Fight on the SNES, one player.
Yeah.
I get it. Here's my proposal that would have made this game better.
Okay.
Make it 2 player, and give the gold dust, the shiny blonde wigs, a point. In that whoever gets the most points at the end of the level, the side-scrolling level, plays the boss.
I think
Because I get why maybe it's 1 player because of the
fighting segments. I'd say just get rid of the fighting segments because they suck.
There you go.
And it's like, I feel like it's also easy to game, where it's like if you're playing with a friend or your little brother and you're like, I get all the wigs, okay? And then when we get to the fighting segments, you don't do anything. You just stand there.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, which I guarantee you it would be, if that's the case, just remove it. Like, if you're like looking for a way around it, just fucking get rid of it.
Yep.
You're probably going to hurt the feelings of whoever worked on that portion, but you're going to have a better product.
And I feel like 2 players, this would have been a really fun co-op experience.
Yeah. And Ross, also you saying, like, you bringing up the NES, like it does kind of even feel a little bit more, maybe it's because of the sword, maybe it's because of the size of the sprites, or maybe it's how it looks. I know we've brought up Streets of Rage several times, which is kind of a detriment to Streets of Rage, because like Streets of Rage is fantastic.
It's better than this.
But it does it gives me a little bit of Ninja Gaiden vibes. And I think that's just because of the speed and the slashing. But I think it's harder than Ninja Gaiden.
I liked the back in the day. I liked the like boss's giant foot right at the end of the first section. So boss's giant robot skeleton bio monster foot comes down, and that all animates nicely with different moving parts.
And has no shadow.
Yes, has no shadow.
Well, monsters cast no shadow. I don't know if you knew that or not. In Japan, they don't.
Yeah, they are sort of self-illuminating. So
right, yeah.
But
that's where electricity comes from in Japan.
Yeah,
the monsters that they've slain.
Kaiju, yes.
Right.
And yeah, it's difficult to get on the same plane as the foot to actually hit it. So a lot of the time you're stood just to the side of it, swinging wildly. But I thought that was a really nicely done idea. I thought it looked nice. It was well planned. It showed that you were this little thing and you were going to fight this giant monster, and then for some reason you get big. You're obviously a grower and not a shower.
Yeah.
But then they repeat that section 3 or 4 times through the game with different feet.
Yeah.
And
there are different feet, and I think that's very lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that is very lazy. But I do like what they've done, and I agree with you. I think it's awesome that they introduce the final boss of each stage. They introduce that boss in different levels where it's like, yeah, sometimes you see his foot, sometimes you fight him on the rooftop where he's trying to, I'm gonna get you, like you were talking about.
Worst time I come from this side.
Right.
Oh no, I'm over here.
It's neat that it's like there's this ever looming thing that you're gonna eventually have to fight in a really shitty mode.
Yep. Especially Slughead with his I guess a Morningstar is the Morningstar, the ball on the chain.
Flail.
His very, very long-reaching flail.
Yeah. Slughead, who looks like a bipedal xenomorph with a flail, who also breathes lightning balls. He was really where the fighting started to like the fighting segments really started to wane because it was like, God damn, he's got crazy reach.
Level 2.
Right, level 2. Blocks everything.
Who listen to wear on me in level 2?
Right, yeah. That's very much the case.
It's all downhill from here.
It is. I do think that the variety of enemies in the beat 'em up parts is nice.
Yeah.
They have guys on like speeder bikes that'll come in very quickly. My favorite / most hated enemy in the game is essentially some kind of like goo mummy that like walk. Do you know what I'm talking about?
A cummy.
A cummy. It's a cummy who walks like very slowly towards you, but like when it gets within a certain range, it like turns, it goes like Gumby mode and just like lunges at you very quickly. Yeah. And the first time always it's fucking scary because it's like, it's hard to know exactly when they're going to do it. So every time they do it, it's like, oh shit, they're on me and I have to get them the fuck off of me. So I like that. And they change up like, how we were talking about, the bosses will show up in the levels, right? In the beat 'em up sections. In the third level in Europe, which is a desert now. And in the back, it's Europe because in the background you see the destroyed Eiffel Tower, the destroyed Arc de Triomphe, the destroyed Eiffel Tower again, the destroyed Arc de Triomphe again.
Like, there's a lot of them in Paris.
We just made duplicates and then those got fucked up.
We just kept making more and they kept tearing them down. The original enemy, just the basic green guy with his fists. I mean, that guy has the NBA James half court dunk mode turned on because they can drop kick you unerringly from all the way across the screen.
Yeah,
like I was like, this is the most basic fucking enemy, and they're drop kicking me from the other side of the screen, and they do not miss.
No, it's a tough game, like for sure. Even the beat 'em up segments they're tough. Like it's a punishing game.
I liked on the enemies. I liked that they weren't just all generic palette swaps. They all looked different. You might fight like 30 green guys, but there were no, here's the 15 green guys and 15 red guys.
Right.
My favorite enemy was like red guys with claws.
And
they look like Ronin Warriors, that anime from the 90s.
Yeah, and the reason I liked them was there was a playthrough I was watching, and he's stood behind one and he's trying to hit him, and he's just kind of like juddering around a little bit, just like sort of pixel left and right to show that he's dodging all these attacks ridiculously quickly, and he has to like move away from him and then sort of hit him from the front where he can't dodge. That didn't make a lot of sense. Or maybe the game had broken.
You decide.
Probably, yeah.
I think it's cool that like in that Europe level, the new desert Europe, they which also I think is neat. They show you how the world has been destroyed because the level before it is India, which is now a tundra. And they later on in the game say, the spoilers, the ecosystem of the Earth is completely fucked.
Yep.
So we all moved to Mars.
Because honestly, it's better over there now.
Right. But in the desert Europe, there's a beat 'em up stage, and then it switches to an auto-scrolling stage where the boss, a giant dinosaur named Dino Beast, is chasing you, and you are trying to rush to the right before he destroys you. And in order to do that, you're like jumping on his hand and jumping off on platforms, and it's very like it's action oriented. It's exciting. It's very difficult to do, which is a problem because I died there so many times, and then of course had to start the game over from the beginning and then get to that point again just to like get a little bit farther, die again, and go all the way back to the beginning of the game.
I mean, just that jumping on his hands. So he's on the far... I don't know my right from my left. I'm 35. He's on the far left, and you're running right. And his hand sort of reaches out towards you, and you have to jump on his hand, and that'll carry you over a gap that's too big to jump on. That's so counterintuitive.
Just barely.
You don't touch the boss.
Yeah. And then you do eventually fight Dino Beast, and his move set entails blocking and imitating Charge and Chuck. Because like all he does is block, and then when you're open, he just uses his charge move, and that fucking destroys you. And when he hits you once with it, he's like, all right, buckle up, charge. I
bet a lot of enemies would just have spammed the same move right in your face.
Well, it's like, I think they're emulating players, because it's like, oh, jump kick Goro.
Yeah.
Seems to work. Do it over and over and over and over and over again.
Oh, it's learning.
Yeah. After Europe is New York, which I thought was really neat because New York is, the way that it has been destroyed is essentially giant bugs and fungus has infested New York.
So Giuliani's mayor again.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah, it's implied. They don't explicitly say it. But like you start off on like a bridge, and like there are giant like egg sacs in the background, and you're fighting these giant flies. And eventually you wind up in the sewer, or not the sewers, the subway, which I thought was really neat because it is all just like fungus covered. And of course, you know, there is no subway because it just doesn't run when everyone's dead.
Yeah, you're right. To be fair, it doesn't run really well when everybody's alive either.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. Tell you. I don't know either.
It seemed to be fine when I visited, but who knows? When I visited, there weren't giant fucking bugs hanging out there. The
you
boss,
got to go at night if you want to see the giant bugs.
See the giant bugs. Fuck. The boss for that is Buster Claw, and he essentially looks like the first time you encounter him. So he's chasing you in the subway, so it's like another situation where like the final boss for a stage is coming at you, and you got to run away. But like he's chasing you with like he had his hands look like Audrey 2's from Little Shop of Horrors.
That's my first thought as well.
But they're on like tentacles, right? So they'll reach and snap at you. And then when you get to the end, when you run out of subway tunnel, he shows up, like his full body shows up while the Audrey 2's are kind of like doing that gotcha thing you were talking about.
Yep.
But like he comes down from up top, and it looks like it honestly... I'm not just saying this because of the story Ross told about the lads weekend taking a shit on that woman's face, but it does look like somebody just like their giant green ass with an eye on the end of like it's Mojo's eye, Mojo from the X-Men, like on the end of a fucking prolapsed anus. That you have to fight. And then when you beat him...
Tony just got interested.
Hi, Tony. Tony's not a patron.
He will not hear this.
He won't hear it.
Unless Dennis pays for it, he will not hear it.
But then once you defeat him, once you defeat the boss, you fight him again in the stupid fighting mode where you're now the same size.
Which again is not explained. Does his suit... Maybe if I'd have read all of the manga, I would be able to make sense of it. Maybe he does just think, I need to fight this man. I'm going to get big, like that. Oh God, what is it? The now probably highly offensive Native American chief that gets bigger in cartoons.
Apache Chief.
There we go. Yeah, maybe he just decides that maybe it's like Ultraman does a special move or something pills. It's just, it doesn't make any sense as to why he's suddenly now like 90 feet tall.
Yeah. If he can grow, you'd think he would just do that.
Yeah.
Right from the start,
skip
like
the
fuck
shit
all
at the
this
beginning.
fighting hand to hand in the streets. I'm just gonna make myself big and fight
From
that
the
monster.
get-go.
Right.
But even I don't like it. It sucks.
But then the alternative to that is, okay, so does he have, okay, so if it's like a giant mech that he gets into, does he have one stationed at each city? Like, how does that, you know what I mean? Like, how does that work? That doesn't make sense, really.
It's like the Batmobile. It's just always where Batman is.
Right?
He summons it like Gizmo Duck. It just flies to wherever he is.
The next stage is Egypt, which when I got to, I never got to Egypt. When I watched the video and the guy in the video got to Egypt, that was wish fulfillment right there. I was like, oh, I guess Egypt is okay. And I was like, is this where they're like based? Is this where the bio beasts dwell? And I think that it is, because like the landscape of Egypt looks like it was designed by the Wachowskis. Because it's got this very like Matrix like feel to it, and it's like, okay, so this is probably where Hell Kaiser runs things, and also nothing's broken. And I think this was cool, but it could also be chalked up to lazy, like a little bit from column A, a little from column B. Egypt mirrors the first stage, which is Tokyo, except that nothing's broken in Egypt. Like you go through like a commercial building in the second level, like very much like you do in Tokyo, except it's not broken down. And then when you get through all that, you fight a boss who's very much like the skeletal gotcha guy.
Yep.
It's that same fight, but
Yep.
it's with negative Mazinger.
Oh, and his hands don't reach into the screen and pull back. They're rocket gloves that
You're
fly
right.
across the
They
screen.
are rockets. You are right.
Negative Mazinger, and then the final boss is just Hell Mazinger. Like, it's just, that's where then they really get lazy.
They get super, super lazy. Yeah, because it's like you beat negative Mazinger, then
Pessimist Mazinger.
right, yeah, realist Mazinger, let's please. And then
Abraham Lincoln Mazinger.
Mary Todd Lincoln Mazinger is Hell Mazinger. You do the boss gauntlet where you do all of the fighting segments again. And if I had been playing the game where it got to this point, I think this is where I would have stopped, regardless of how much time I had sunk into it at this point, because you just play the worst parts of the game back to back to back to back to back.
Fuck that. Yeah, fuck that.
And then when you complete that,
So that's the game they really wanted to make.
I think it is. I think they wanted to make a fighting game, and someone told them, this isn't good. You should scrap it. And they're like, no.
No. We'll show you.
Right.
We'll show you.
But
You'll see.
I guess they've... Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Ultraman. I guess it is just they wanted to make an Ultraman clone, and then they've looked at it and thought, this is... Yeah, when you copy homework, but you got to change it just enough. So they've sort of said, side-scrolling? Yeah, that'll do. It's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the beat 'em up segments, but that's about it. I like how fast it played. I like how fast the beat 'em up segments played. And it's like, I guess I can
Because they wanted you to get through them, to get to the point, to get to the showcase.
Get to the real stuff.
Showcase showdown.
Which is so slow and clunky. Yep. Like, and maybe they're trying to do it to make you feel like you're in a big mech, you know? They're like, it's big, so you're going to be slower than you are on foot. But it's like, that's the wrong decision. Yep. Like, it still needs to be fun.
Because after SNES Drunk, I watch a lot of Classic Game Room. They have a whole lot of games played. And they did this, and the guy there expressed very similar sentiments. Like, man, the side-scrolling beat 'em, like, that's great. That's wonderful. I could play that all day long.
Yeah.
Man, fuck this other bullshit, though.
It sucks.
This is terrible.
It sucks. And like what I've seen is I read a few reviews of the game, and a lot of people have that sentiment. But then you go to the comments, and like the people defending this game are defending this game. I mean, they are like bringing it, and it's like to the level of like you don't understand what you're talking about. Like that. This is a gem. I don't think this is a hidden gem.
Yeah.
I think what's very interesting about it is that it just involves Go Nagai, who I'm not very familiar with Go Nagai's work, but I know like he's credited as being essentially the grandfather of mechs, big robot anime, manga and anime, where it's like he's, from what I've read, he's credited as like he is the guy,
the Gundam Gun Daddy.
Yeah, the gun daddy, who like came up with the concept of like a pilot getting into a giant robot and piloting it. So that's neat, but I don't know. I just wish it were a better game.
I guess it's one of those sort of like a cult classic. The people that love
that's
it,
that's a good
will
way to
defend it to the death. The people that like Go Nagai, that think the game is terrible, will defend it to the death and call everyone, a dickhead for not agreeing with them. And I guess anyone else is just sort of, I think it is quite polarizing. People like it or don't like it. I seem to remember playing it quite a lot, but it was painfully difficult, and I'm not that good at these sorts of old games. But yeah, I remember sort of looking at the animation, thinking the animation was good, and that big foot, the first time the big foot comes down, like, wow, look at the size of this big foot, and it all moves in different ways, and it's a big skeleton. And
why am I so turned on?
Yeah. Oh, this is going to start something.
Why do I want to see it eating something?
Oh, if only I was a cake.
Do you think he could press this giant ass into me and fart? Some sort of cake farts?
Somehow I knew this was going to lead to cake farts. Deep down, I knew.
I was about to bring up cake farts, to be fair. I've showed so many people at work cake farts, and their reaction is all the same. Like, why? Like, I don't know. But why? I can't answer this.
The reaction is always the same. They leave.
Yeah.
My reaction to cake farts was, why?
Yeah.
And then laughing.
I can see why this would probably be a thing for somebody. It's not for me.
Not for me.
But
I would like to eat the cake.
Yeah, that's a waste of good cake.
And maybe the ass. But not, it's a waste of...
I mean, if they just press the ass, I could probably still eat it. But once you fart, I can't eat the cake. But what did people at your work, how do they respond to cake farts?
Yeah, it's mostly sort of why, and I can't explain why.
But how does your wife respond to cake farts? If you haven't shown her cake farts, please wake her up right now so we can get her reaction live while we do this.
Again, I think her reaction was just why as well, and that look of disappointment and a sort of what have I got myself into.
I have a theory, and it does involve somebody owning a porn studio and a bakery. How can I make these two things work together?
This cake was only $1 at Walmart. Right? Because it's already 2 days old. What can we do with it?
Fart on it? All right. How can we make money on that?
Do you know a somewhat cute girl who like eats a lot of like beans? So I don't know.
That's all I know.
That's all.
Have you seen the cake farts video recently?
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Not since the last time I linked it in the show notes. It's been a while.
She is significantly less attractive than you would think. She looks like she is nursing a coke habit. She says
she looks like she would fart on cakes.
Yeah,
I was about to say, close your eyes. Imagine a woman who will fart on cakes.
She says,
what does she look like?
She says, "Let me get comfortable." She takes her hair out. It's obviously unwashed. I imagine she sort of said, "Oh man, I've got some awful trapped wind today," and someone is just like, "Wait, just hold it, just 5 minutes, just." I've got this birthday cake for the boy. I'll get him a one tomorrow. Just pop you in there.
To be fair, if I knew that my day entailed farting on a cake, I probably wouldn't get dressed up for it.
I'm not going to shave my legs and wash my hair to
Yeah.
fart on a cake.
Do I have to put makeup on for this? Good.
You probably want me to be dirtier, right?
Right. That works.
It's
I'm going to have to fight a giant foot after this?
It's just an odd combination of things.
It is. That is a good way of putting it. Much like Mazinger Saga.
Yeah. You've taken two things that you like, farting and cake, and smashed them together in not the nicest way.
Mazin Saga equals cake farts.
So that should be the tagline for this episode.
Yeah.
The cake farts of Sega games.
Yeah. So far.
So far.
But there'll be a lot of people out there that haven't tried farting on a cake or eating cake that has been farted on. And they might really like it. And they'll go and play the game and say, this is actually really good. What? I don't see what they didn't like. The farting's good. The cake is good. Together, they're great.
I do think the game is worth checking out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it's a horrible game. But,
No.
I think it's worth checking out. It's a curiosity.
Yes, it is a curiosity.
Do you guys have any achievements for the game?
RuPaul. You
Okay.
unlock RuPaul by getting 10 shiny yellow wigs.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Oh, yeah, that was good. Dave, you rattle some off. I'll try and think of one very quickly.
Okay. I didn't stream this on Twitch, so I had to resort to using my shitty brain in order to try to do it. My first achievement is, look, kids, Big Ben. In order to unlock, look, kids, Big Ben, you have to make it to Europe, die, restart the game, make it to Europe, die, restart the game, make it to Europe, repeat. And I've got one more achievement, and that is Leather Doom Guys of Phobos. In order to unlock Leather Doom Guys of Phobos, finish the game where it's revealed that despite you driving off the Hellkaiser, the Earth's ecosystem has been demolished, and the Earth will colonize Mars and live there instead.
In
Also-
2016.
Also, no, that's when Hellforce returns.
Oh,
Hellforce returns in
shit.
2016 and
Damn.
fucks shit up. So that's how you essentially unlock Leather Doom Guys of Phobos when you beat the game.
Yeah, I guess they didn't have to worry about Y2K since this takes place in 1999.
Yeah, that's the real
That's
reason
the
they
real
left.
apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, Ross, if you were to give this game a beard, what would you give it?
Oh, I didn't think about this one. I didn't think about this either. I'm so unprepared.
Well, we don't normally do this on Patreon, so
No.
we're very much just
I'm just doing this for you, buddy.
yeah.
I feel well taken care of. If I
I'll
was
fart
going
on
to
your
give
cakes
this
any day.
Oh, thank you. If I was going to give this the beard, I would give this the beard of the famous football commentator you won't know of called Desmond Lynam. And Desmond Lynam was a... Christ, was he a footballer in the day? I don't know, but it was...
The guy from Lost.
He was a football
Pretty sure.
commentator,
Pretty sure.
and he had like a nice little goatee thing, and for some reason, he either dyed it pink or put a pink stripe in it. And I like beards, and I like pink, but pink beards on old men who are commenting football, they're just two things that don't go together.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. That's apt.
If you were to give this game a pair of glasses, Ross, what would you give it?
Let's see. I would give this the bloodshot eyes of a man who is, let's say, orally pleasing another man. And he pulls out
Okay.
and jizzes in his eyes.
You had my attention. You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
You're cutting him off at the good part. I just heard jizzes.
And he ejaculates in the eyes of the pleasurer. And his eyes get all bloodshot because they're full of semen. Because I like my eyes, and I also like to ejaculate. But I don't like the two things together.
You got to blow on the pee hole so it clenches back up.
Oh no, you've ruined it.
So I've also got glasses for it.
Yeah.
The glass that contains the English trifle made by Rachel Green and friends. So it's a layer of whipped cream, a layer of jam, a layer of ladyfingers, a layer of sautéed peas and onions, and you put it all together and it tastes like feet.
I like that. That was a good reference.
Yeah.
I have some more questions for you. I would like to know, where are they now? Where is Almanac Corporation, the developer of this video game?
They transferred everything into making almond milk.
Okay.
They opened a discount bookstore for misprinted books.
Perfect. They dissolved 22 years ago in 1998. They also were known for, and probably best known for, developing Evo, Search for Eden. It's them.
Oh, okay.
Also, apparently a Super Scope 6 game, or a game that works with the Super Scope, Cheyenne's Revenge. So I'm kind of excited to check that out.
Okay.
I have another question. I want to know, where are they now? Vic Tokai. Vic Tokai is the publisher of this game.
I assume they were probably bought up.
Okay.
Bought up.
Ross, what do you think?
I am going to say, I think they did lots of Sega games. I bet Sega bought them.
Okay. I think those are both great guesses, and I would have been very, very, very surprised if either of you had gotten this. And I don't normally ask about publishers because we've typically covered a lot of the publishers already. But Tokai started as a communications corporation in 1977. They dabbled in video games for a little bit, but now they sell internet. Now they're an internet provider.
Okay.
They're doing that very, I feel like in America, we don't do this. Like, I feel like in America, like, if a business fails, it fails.
Yeah.
And it's like it's bought up by another company. But like, I feel like in Japan, it's just like, oh, we did video games for a little bit. Fucking didn't work. So now we do fucking internet.
Yeah.
And we kept the name.
That thing will probably stick around for a little while, right? Internet? Let's sell
it. Lots of feet and farting on cakes.
Let's forge it. Yeah. Let's sell our cake farts on it.
So there is a chance that Nintendo could start selling canned fish.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably a good chance.
I'd buy Nintendo sardines.
If they'd have done Wii U too, then yeah, we'd probably all be eating Nintendo fish right now.
Fish Tendo.
It just fucking writes itself, doesn't it? I want to know how much this game is. I want to know how much, if you were to buy Mazin Saga Mutant Fighter with US dollars loose, how much do you think you'd pay for it?
Ooh, loose.
Sega games are all pretty cheap. Go ahead, Ross.
I am going to say $11.25.
Okay, $11.25 American. Tyler, what do you think?
$8.49.
All right, $8.49. Actual retail value of Mazin Saga Mutant Fighter loose for the Sega Genesis, on average, according to PriceCharting.com, at the time of this recording, is $42.44.
Jesus, that is not what I expected at all.
About 10 years ago, you could pick one up for about $5.
Yeah.
And then I think a bunch of YouTube videos were made about it. And I think that's why it is now $42.44.
All right.
Did Gona Guy die?
10 years ago. What's that?
Did Go Nagai die? Is that the only reason why it's so popular?
I think Gonagai is still alive. Yeah, he's 75. Born. There's a born date, but not a death date yet.
Gonna guy alive, or is he gonna die?
That was a stretch.
He just celebrated a birthday not too long ago, September 6th. He is known for Cutie Honey, which I've heard of, never read or seen. Devilman, again, heard of, never read or seen. Harinchi Gakuen, never heard of or read. Mazinger, which I now know because of this video game. Grendizer, and I'm afraid to say this, especially after all the Slylock Fox stuff, because this sounds like a slur. Steel Jeeg? But he's not dead. Not yet. But probably will be soon. Tadpog curse.
Probably, yeah.
Sorry,
you're right.
Guy. So sorry.
Just like we killed Farmville.
Yeah. If you wanted to pick up a new copy of this game, you're looking at spending a whopping $165.50 on average.
Damn.
Jeez.
It's a lot. It's not worth that.
No.
It's not worth the $44. That's one of those where it's like, sure as fuck, I'm glad I do not collect Sega Genesis games.
Yep. Ross, you got any more of them questions?
I do have some questions for you.
Fuck yeah.
It's not a standard sort of format quiz. It's more sort of freestyle.
Cake quiz.
I could probably whip up a cake quiz. No, what I've got is a list of the top 10 best-selling Sega Genesis games of all time. And
okay.
I want you to guess what they are. I don't expect them in any order. Just fire out what you think might be the 10 best-selling, and then I will read you the list.
Okay.
And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Sega Genesis, or Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm assuming
Sonic 1, Sonic 2.
I'm assuming pack-ins, yeah? Pack-ins are included or
yeah,
no?
pack-ins are included, yeah.
Okay, then I'm with you, Tyler. Sonic 2 for sure. Sonic 1 probably as well. You want to go ahead and just say Sonic 3 is 2 or what?
Yeah, probably. Streets of Rage 2.
Streets of Rage 3.
I'd probably say Streets of Rage 2 over Streets of Rage.
Rage 2 is probably, the biggest selling out of those, right?
Yeah.
Streets
Jurassic
of Rage
Park?
3 is very rare.
Jurassic Park, I
You
think,
can't
could be
get
on
it.
there.
What do you think, Lion King?
No.
Aladdin?
No.
Is anyone keeping track of how many games we've said?
No.
Good.
No.
No, we're just naming Genesis games.
We're just throwing shit out there.
Yeah. Herzog Zwei?
Herzog's Eye, yeah.
Dune?
Moonwalker.
Kid Chameleon?
Yeah. Gunstar Heroes.
Gunstar Heroes, which I don't think that sold well, unfortunately.
I bet it didn't. But really, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Streets of Rage 2, or 3 I seriously think are out there.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, well, also we got to think about Madden and stuff too.
It's known for their
Because
sports
it's known
game.
for sports games.
You're right.
And maybe FIFA.
NBA Jam could be on there.
Could be.
This
How
feels,
Ross, are we doing good?
this feels too freeform.
Okay.
So I tell you what we'll do. I'll just go through them. You got some of them. You did very well. So at number 10, maybe that's what I'll do. I should have really have said which one do you think was the 10th best selling, and then we could have done it a bit better. But I've not done that.
We definitely
and now
would have fucked that all up, though.
I think we did just fine.
Yeah, we did good. I love this quiz.
You did good. Well done, you.
Thank you.
Mortal. God, I'm just thinking about the. Go and fill it in on your rainbow chart thing.
Yeah,
that Henry
yeah,
has
we
to
get
do.
it. I brought the rainbows over today. Let's go do it.
The school that my son Xander goes to has a chart for how good or bad you've been on that day. So it's red at the bottom. Then it goes yellow, then it goes green, and then it goes gold, and you have like a hot air balloon with your name on it, and depending on how good or bad you've been, it moves up and down the chart.
We've got that too. The color system is different, but it's essentially the same. Is this like a public thing? Like, is it like up on the wall, like in class, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's definitely a name and shame thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
which works out for me because Henry behaves, but it doesn't work out for like several people I know who I work with somebody whose son is special needs, and it's like he's in a regular class and he is like always like on like red or something
That's
like
bullshit.
that, and it's like it sucks for him because it's like the kids definitely they stay away from him because it's like, well, if I hang out with him, I'm going to get in trouble too.
There's a better way to do it than that. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to tell your school system how to work, but they're definitely doing it wrong.
No, go ahead.
We need it.
Here in Xander's last school in the UK, they had a tree, and if you were when you start the day, your apple is in the tree because you're being good, and if you're bad, the apple falls out of the tree, and the teachers would say, "Go and move your apple," and the kids would have to solemnly walk up to the tree, take their apple, put it on the ground, and then look at it forlornly. And
the kids all going to throw apples at that kid and sit up there.
Yeah, or much more likely, the kids don't give a fuck and run around and scream and bite each other, and you know what kids are like. Savages, I believe is the word. But it's been really hard. My good lady wife was saying that the kids that have come into like the year one class, I guess they are sort of 5 and 6, are just absolutely feral because they've had no previous sort of you go into like a preschool, and the preschool is sort of a warm up to get kids into the habit of just going somewhere different. They don't do any work, they just play, but they are somewhere different and they have to follow rules that have never been followed, and someone has to tell them what to do, and that prepares them for the school where they actually start to do something. But because of COVID, they missed most of that, so they're not listening or doing what they're told or sitting down to do any work, and are just absolute monsters. So now is a good time not to be a teacher.
Yeah. Now sucks to be a teacher for sure, especially here because like
the last 4 years have been pretty bad to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, it's never. I mean, in my opinion, it's never been great. You know, like I feel like that is unfortunately a profession.
And why they're targeted for some weird fucking reason.
Yeah, but like with everything, like with COVID, at least like the way that they're doing it here, it's especially hard on them because they're having to teach kids in person, and then also the other half like online.
Yep.
And it's like not only are they exposed to, you know, all the kids like who carry all the germs that their parents who may or may not wear masks, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking, it sucks.
Yep.
I'm not envious of teachers.
I recently hired a teacher who she herself is immunosuppressed, and she was like, "I'm not doing it."
Yeah, I don't blame her.
So it would be, I know they won't care. So yeah, I will go back to it once all this is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole like Zoom remote learning stuff is just, it's doomed from the start. They have to be seen to be trying to do something, but no one's gonna fucking pay attention, are they? I certainly wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't either. No, of course not.
Unfortunately, there will always be one person in a Zoom class that doesn't remember that their camera's on and decides to just have a crafty wank in front of all of their classmates.
my cousin recently posted a video of like a kid's mom like walking behind him naked, seeing the camera and then jumping back out of the way.
Can you send that to me, please? I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, now is not a good time. Here's some fun trivia. I trained as a teacher and was a teacher for a little bit. I taught in secondary schools, so they were like 13 to 16 or 17.
It seems like the worst age.
Yeah.
I sort of thought, at best, if they didn't want to work, that's their problem. But that is not how that goes. Teaching, unfortunately, is a lot of... I don't know what it's like there, but here, or certainly in the UK, it was just ticking boxes. It was proving that a child has done something once by making them print it out and sticking it in a folder and saying, here's their portfolio that proves I've taught them how to do their things. But it's not...
Yeah.
They don't learn anything. They're not trying to learn anything. You're not trying to teach them anything. You're just trying to make them do a thing so you can say they've done a thing so you don't get in trouble.
Right.
But enough about what's wrong with the education system. Also, a year 7 student, she would have been about 12 or 13. At that age, it really is just I'm just getting you to do something to keep you out of my hair for 20 minutes. And we said... you're going to design a poster for a place in the world that you want people to visit, like a holiday poster. So she goes away and she makes this poster of Egypt, all in fucking Comic Sans. It makes my skin crawl. So she's made this poster and it's like a picture of the desert with the Great Pyramids and a camel and shit or whatever, and it's like, come see Egypt, we have sand and shit. And she's printed out in black and white, and I've said, this is really nice, this is I like the words and the picture, blah blah blah, but it's in black and white. Print it out in colour and we'll stick it in your folder, and then we can say that you've done some nice work and show other people. And she looked at me with no irony and she said, God, this is so stressful. And I just wanted to punch her in the face. I was like, have a mortgage, pay bills. Oh, just...
It's literally, girl, it's literally a checkbox.
Yeah, this is not... I do this sort of thing better than you do for fun, and usually with more breasts in it. But please, just leave
Every
me
day
alone.
for fun, I make a Visit Egypt poster.
I've done one in Comic Sans. I've done one in Papyrus.
Oh,
I
God.
even did one in Wingdings. We can fucking believe that shit. It's fun.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was.
I want to see that real, like, Egypt tourist board who does, like, the real poster where it's like, we have sand and camels and shit.
Oh, yeah. That was a good detour.
The only place safe from God Kaiser Hell.
Also, in Europe, there was sort of some background. Oh, they went heavy on the parallax scrolling in one of them. In the background to one of the levels in Europe is a building on the floor, and it took me a long time to figure out that it was the Leaning Tower of Pisa, which was no longer leaning. And very long. Nope. It was about 9 miles high. Yeah,
it was a big boy. So, okay, since we're talking about that again, and since we're talking about Europe, I couldn't figure out what some of the landmarks were. Where you fight the boss for that level. I couldn't figure out where that was. Can you name all the locations, please?
I don't remember them. There was definitely... I definitely remember a broken Eiffel Tower and fallen down Arc de Triomphe. There was the fallen down Leaning Tower of Pisa. Was it perchance the... oh, crap, what's it? The Colosseum in... Because it was in, like...
Greece?
It seemed like it... No, it's in Rome, which is in Italy.
Rome.
Which is also not Greece. I don't know.
You say.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
I think he meant the temple to Athena.
No, that's also in Rome.
My geography is terrible, to be fair.
What is it? It'd be the temple to Minerva in Rome. Had to think about Roman mythology.
Good for you. I didn't know Athena to Minerva. Some of them I know. We were taught Greek mythology, and then later in life was like taught, yeah, it's just the same. They just changed the names. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I don't know all the names there.
Well, I'll be naming the planets after the Roman ones. Who about the Greek ones are better? Yeah, I don't know.
Weird how that works, isn't it, kid? And go make a poster for Egypt and get the fuck out of my face.
I still can't believe that Pluto's not a planet. It wounds me to my soul.
I get it. They need to rename one of the other planets to a Disney character. Make it better.
Yeah.
Uranus could be Goofy. It's fine.
Definitely going to be Goofy. Yeah. It makes so much sense. Goofy's the closest thing we got to Pluto. I mean, it's also Goofy has a big butthole. It's common knowledge.
Yuck.
He's the only one canonically that's had sex.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
Your dad for yucks.
So what are the best-selling Sega Genesis games?
Yeah, we've gone off this way hard. So at number 10, I'm struggling to see if I think that is right or not. It seems to be right. Mortal Kombat 3.
Okay.
That's
a weird one on me, yeah.
Yeah, it was released in January 1995 and sold 1.34 million copies. That's just bonkers, isn't it? If a game nowadays sold 1.34 million copies, that company would be in trouble.
Right? Yeah, totally.
We're selling you to EA. Fuck off.
Right?
So you've got to lay off 90% of your staff, and now you're only allowed to make mobile games.
Congratulations. You're about to make a lot more money.
At number 9 is the Dark Souls of 1994, The Lion King, which sold 1.41 million copies. Yes, you mentioned Lion King. Well done, you. Number 8 is a game which I suspect was significantly more popular on the Super Nintendo, which was Street Fighter 2.
Super Mario Brothers. Oh.
No. Super Mario World is number 3. 1.66 million copies. Number 7 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which you said.
Okay.
Released in January 1994 with 1.76 million copies.
Michael Jackson bought 1.2 million of those, I think.
Yes, because his song was in it.
Right.
Number 6 is the weird hermaphroditic cartridge Sonic & Knuckles, which both takes and receives.
Okay.
With
perfect. I love it.
It was released in 1994 and sold 1.82 million copies. Did your copy of Did the US copy of Sonic & Knuckles come in a paper box?
I don't know because I never owned it until recently, and it was definitely not in a box when I bought it. But I remember that's why I rented a Sega Genesis. I finally convinced my mom in middle school to let me rent a Sega Genesis because I was enamored with the idea of Sonic and Knuckles and that whole plug a cartridge into a thing and then into I finally wore her down on that and got to rent it. And I totally guilted her because we were moving. And we always moved around a lot as a kid, and I totally leaned into that. I'm sad that we're moving. Can I please rent a Sega Genesis?
Well, you're taking away all my real friends, so you let me rent some virtual ones for a weekend?
Right.
Come on, mother, it's this or heroin. Which do you prefer?
Right.
Like my mom said to my dad when I was playing Diablo 2, he could be doing drugs.
I mean, she's not wrong.
I know it's a lot of mouse clicks, but he could be doing drugs.
It's a stretch, but reasonable, I think. Where did I get to? Sonic & Knuckles. So, number 5 is NBA James, which was released
Tyler.
in 1993. 2.05 million copies. There is a sodding cocking documentary that Seth Rogen did about the console wars. Was it called Console Wars? Between the Genesis and Nintendo. It's fantastic. You should definitely watch it.
I haven't seen it yet because it's on CBS All Access, and I don't have that. But I need to get the free trial, the 7-day trial, and just try to watch all of that in 7 days.
Yeah, I think it's only one film. It's like It's like a 2-hour-long movie.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
I'll see if Mr. Bay has it.
Yes, I mean, my great uncle Bay lent me his copy.
Excellent. Well, when you're done with it, if I could borrow it, that would be great.
But yeah, it's really good. It's certainly. I mean, a lot of people talk about Nintendo. Here's another fun fact: Sega at that period, Sega in the sort of 8 and 16-bit era, significantly more popular in the UK than Nintendo was.
Yeah, man. I remember like going over, on a school thing, and like spending some time with a dude over there named Giles. And he had like a Genesis, and like I remember when I asked about the Nintendo, like he kind of like looked at me like I was absolutely a peasant.
He had all the sports games, right?
Yeah, lots of sports, lots of soccer games. Like I mean, that was like I didn't like so many of them. Like he had probably had 12 games. Half of those were proper football games.
Nuts. It's fucking nuts.
That noise you might have heard was me dropping my mic, so I apologise for that.
No worries. It wasn't loud at all.
Nothing but the most professional here.
Right.
Christ. Yes, okay. Number 4, Streets of Rage. Was released in December 1990 and sold 2.6 million copies. Number 3 is the original Mortal Kombat, and I guess most people went for that one because it had the blood in it, as opposed
to... The blood,
to...
right, yeah.
They make a big deal of that, actually, in Console Wars. That sold 2.67 million copies. Number 2 was Sonic the Hedgehog 1.
There we go.
Released in 1991. Sold 4.34 million. And
wow, that's a big jump.
Yes,
that's that pack-in jump. Yeah.
And at number 1 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 with 6.03 million, and that was the pack-in for the Model 2 Mega Drive, which again sort of makes sense. Sort of pack-in stuff, isn't it?
Totally.
And they made a big deal of blast processing, which wasn't a thing. It was just brilliant marketing.
Right.
And that was it. That was the top 10 selling. God, games nowadays will sell 6 million units on day one. It's just bonkers.
Not if I made one.
It depends what your game was. It'd have to get all the demographics. It'd have to get like the furries, the hentai games, the
perverts.
Yeah, the pervert. Go for the pervert market, definitely.
Well, I play well to the pervert market.
Play very well with the perverts.
Yeah, being one myself.
We got the perverts
natural.
on lockdown.
Right? Yeah, it works out great.
I do find like people you'll read about a kink and you're like, oh God, what on earth is wrong with you? While you're greasing up the melon to pop into your anus.
Always try new things.
Well, there's a limit, let's be honest.
The pervert anthem.
Thanks for the quiz, Ross.
That wasn't a quiz, don't think that.
That was a quiz.
Thanks for the freeform discussion.
Yeah, thanks for structured around facts.
Yes. Well, alright, fair enough.
It was way better than any poster of Egypt I've ever seen.
It's way better than any black and white poster with Comic Sans on it.
I don't know. I've seen some STD posters in black and white. They've been pretty good.
In Comic Sans.
There is there's sort of posters and things. There was like an advertising campaign that the government put out here, not here at the UK, about sort of assault and inappropriate touching and inappropriate relationships and all this sort of thing. And there is like large anthropomorphized puppets of, one is a bra and one is a pair of Y-fronts. And the Y-fronts, so underpants.
Okay, Y-fronts.
Y-fronts, they are called Y-fronts because they have an upside-down Y on them that you can pop your old man out of to take a leak. Maybe you'd call, tighty whities, are they Y-fronts?
I see that. I see what you're saying. Huh.
And the pants are sat on a bus and talking about how someone touched his arse or whatever. It's just very odd. Again, I like pants.
It's very odd that the man's undergarment would be saying that. You think the bra would be saying that? But weird.
The bra says something else equally suitable, I suppose. It's just weird, I guess. I don't know why. It's got to that stage where I do not remember what the beginning of my sentence was that I was saying.
But you do remember the poster, which means you definitely jerked off thinking about it.
Pop my old man out of this Y-front. Yeah.
Have a crafty wank.
Just out of the leg hole.
That's fun.
Just imagine that asshole just opening up for a full colon view.
Can you make it sing? Can you make it lip sing? If I play some Bad to the Bone, can you make it move?
Farts just there's no.
He farts sound more like burps. Come on.
Yeah. There's no sound involved at all. Just a gentle draft.
You throw a paper airplane at it.
Well, any more thoughts on Mazin Saga?
Check it out, but not for $44.
Yep.
Definitely worth playing. But look at the animation. Probably watch a playthrough of it.
That is probably actually the best way to experience it, is to watch somebody else play it. Someone who's good at it.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah.
I saw a video.
Yeah, there's
people are very good at it.
6 people.
Well, thanks for throwing in, Ross, putting the bounty out on this and joining us for it. It was very good to hang out with you for 2 hours.
It has been 2 hours. Yeah, thanks for inviting me in, and it's been an experience. I guess it's always sort of the worry that you like something and you tell some people about it, and they say, "No, that was terrible." But luckily, I'm not the sort of
I get it.
There you go.
Yeah, I co-host this podcast. I get it.
Luckily, I'm not the sort of person that has to be and my opinions don't have to be validated by other people. If you don't like it, I don't give a fuck what you think. I quite liked it.
There you go.
It didn't sound like you liked it, though.
I do like it. It's
okay. All right.
It's I don't know if there's many things that I can gush about and say this is absolutely the best thing that's ever been. I guess that's sort of the British way, is to not be that enthusiastic about things.
Okay. I liked it. I like the beat 'em up segments, but the fighting segments just killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they were.
100%. Well, I guess that's all we got.
That's it.
It's pretty good. It's a good Patreon. That's a lengthy Patreon episode. It's pretty good.
It's a
pretty
lengthy
good.
boy.
Well, I'm going to take a shit, so thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Ross, you said that earlier. You said that you had another story.
I do have another
Got
story.
your stinger story?
Are you desperate for that shit?
Absolutely.
Not my shit. I mean Tyler's shit. Unless Tyler doesn't need
go
shit.
I can wait a few more minutes.
Like, I got an empty can here, Tyler.
So this story comes to me from a friend of mine. He got a job at an architectural firm, and he The architectural firm's IT department consisted of one very old man and one very fat, sweaty other man, I guess. And fat, sweaty man.
I heard the quotation marks on person, man.
Fat, sweaty IT man tried to sort of get in to be friends with person I knew at the time. But person I knew at the time wasn't interested, didn't need another friend, or just didn't want to talk to this person. Anyway, so he tries to sort of hang around, and my friend makes his best efforts to ignore him. And one day he's sort of stood by his desk and he says, "So I've got a new girlfriend." And my friend says, "Great, bye then." And he says, "Yeah, we've been dating for a couple of weeks, actually." He says, "Okay, fine. You're going to tell me the story, so let's get on with it." And he says, "Yeah, we've been intimate. Great, thanks." And the story goes that his girlfriend, or his new girlfriend, is quite into sort of orgies and wife swapping and things like this, and she sort of says, "Would you be interested?" And man, who obviously has never had female attention in his life, says, "Yep, fine, whatever you want, love." So she says, "I've met this couple online. They seem really nice. I'm a bit nervous to go. We need to sort of meet them and vet them and make sure they're not weird. But I'm a bit nervous to go. Can you go and check them out and see if they're okay? And if they're all right, then, we'll arrange to all meet together." And he says, "Yeah, okay." So he goes to this person's house. Apparently quite a nice house in the suburbs. And he knocks on the door, and at the door appears quite a tall gentleman who was bald and wearing nothing but a dressing gown. And this is where the alarm bells would ring for me. But this is not where the alarm bells rang for this other man. So he goes inside, and they're having a chat, and they're having a glass of wine. And IT man says, "Where's your wife?" And he says, "Oh, she's had to go to work." And he says, "Okay." And they're finishing the wine, and man with dressing gown disrobes and just starts to masturbate in the living room. So IT man thought, well, I'd probably better join in. So he takes his trousers off and...
Good instincts.
Yeah, he takes his trousers off and joins in. None of this seemed weird to him at the time. And then Bold Man gets up and sucks IT Man off.
All right.
And when IT Man finishes, Bold Guy sits on the chair looking expectantly, and IT Man says, "Well, I kind of felt obliged to at this stage." So he just sucks off a random stranger in random stranger's house. And then after he's finished, they arrange to meet up again, and he goes home. And I don't think the relationship lasted much longer than that. And I suspect what happened was she'd pimped him out to a random homosexual man.
Yeah.
It certainly sounds like it, doesn't it?
It does. When you say I was so like, wow, what a story that I didn't even think about that, but it does sound like that.
It's a pretty lengthy way to go about it, right, though? I figured, like, all gay men have to do is just, like, go to a chat room. Be like,
yeah,
but
what's up? As opposed to, like, going and finding a girl. Well, okay, well, I don't know. Maybe everybody has their kinks. I don't know. That just seems like a lengthy way to go around it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
Maybe it's a gay man having sex with a straight man.
With a straight man.
Yeah, from what I hear, I've heard, like, gay friends that I have, like, that's the big fantasy is,
I've heard that from gay friends as well, yeah. But I do think that if someone...
So you keep dating that girl?
I don't think it lasted very much longer, to be fair.
Yeah. How did your friend react?
I don't remember. I think it was just one of those things where he was in shock, awe, and disgust that he just turned away and never.
So Trent
again
and I hang
did.
out regularly now.
You're right.
Yeah. Or maybe that was just his. Maybe that was his excuse. Maybe the man in the story was him. And
No,
he
my
went to the
girlfriend made me do
ball man.
it.
Yeah. Maybe this is just.
Maybe.
Maybe he was maybe he was watching for my reaction. Maybe if I'd have said, "Oh, that sounds quite interesting," it'd be like, "Well, I know a guy."
Well, let me pull my old man out of my front Y here then.
I'm just gonna pop my trousers down, and you see how you feel. I can't say I've ever seen a cock and thought, Jesus, that's all right. I'm
All right, hold on. I'm gonna send you a Facebook message.
I'm happy with my own, and that's as many as I want to be involved with, I think.